Yeah, this is Michael, and this is... That's me being respectful.
Can I help you?
Well, can I get a pass because I'm going to be late?
This office is not responsible for your tardiness.
Dan replies rapidly in a frustrated voice.
Oh, man, I'm so dead. I forgot mine at home.
Is this an emergency?
Yes, I'd like to call this home because...
Then you can't use the phone.
Dan is about to yell at Mrs. B, but thinks better of it. He leaves the office and trudges, none too quietly, into Smith's class where he falls into his seat.
Dan, you're tardy. Well, you weren't there. It's not my fault, but...
That's enough. Let's not waste any more of the class time. Mrs. Brown is the person you need to speak with regarding this matter.
It is now the second hour, and Dan goes to Mrs. Brown's English class. Dan is at his locker before school, hanging up his jacket and talking about taking out the book that he needs for class. His friend Michael walks up and leans on the locker next to Dan. Dan quickly looks into his folder he has in his hand and slams his fist into the locker. Class, please pass your paper to the front of the row, and I will walk around and collect them. Dan raises his hand.
Mrs. Brown,
Yes, Dan?
Yeah, we had a family emergency last night, so I'm going to have to turn my paper in tomorrow.
Dan, this is your third family emergency this semester.
Yes, I have an accident from family.
I'll cut you some slack when your parents call me to verify this family emergency. Michael leaves for class, and Dan goes to the office, where he waits politely in the front desk for the secretary to notice him. She gives Dan a stern look and addresses him in a similar tone. What's up, Tom? Dan looks up at the ceiling and then down at his toes. Dan stops his trudge, and after a short pause to think things over,
It's not my fault. Mrs. B wouldn't give me a pass. I was trying to call home so my mom could bring me my paper, but she wouldn't let me do that either. Now Mrs. Brown is going to give me an F because Mrs. B is so old and mean.
I know what you mean. I was up all late finishing this stupid paper from Brown's class. Don't sweat it. Just go to the office and ask if you can call home so your mom can bring it up.
Right. She'll just say, Daniel, you need to come to class with care. Thanks, dude.
Dan sinks down in his chair and hangs his head. After school, Dan enters the kitchen where his mom is at the stove and his dad is reading the newspaper at the table. His father asks from behind his newspaper. Mr. Green puts his paper down and cuts Dan off. How was school, Dan? Why? Mrs. Green turns away from the stove and points at the counter across the room.
Funny, I thought she was very reasonable when she called me offering her condolences regarding our family emergency. And to tell me you didn't turn in your paper you left sitting on the counter again.
Dan?
But I didn't even...
Danny.
What?
In an irritated voice, she cuts Dan off the final time. Danny! Daniel!
Old Lady B wouldn't let me use the phone to call you. Mrs. Smith marked me tardy for being late, and it wasn't my fault. Mrs. Brown gave me an F on that paper because she is so unreasonable. Okay, before you bust out with my middle and last names, it's not my fault. My paper was late and I received an F because I forgot it at home. I was not prepared for class and deserved the bad grade.
Now that's the boy we know, love, and are reason to accept. Responsibility and actions. Go wash your hands and we can eat dinner.
Dan's parents smile and resume at what they were doing prior to the conversation.